Hello everyone, welcome back to Gentleman's Gaming Club. Today, we have got a game for you.
It's confusing that in a world where we live with modern video game consoles, somebody decided to make a PlayStation 2 game. Why?
Today we're talking about Wanted Dead. A game featuring the most convoluted, nonsensical story I've ever experienced. Many of you probably saw the trailers for this game or some of the ads where they had live action characters from the game or they had cool anime things. And all of that's kind of represented in the game, but in no way that in any way makes any sense.
Jesse, I feel like if you saw those trailers, you should buy one of these canaries, because guess what? You being gaslit right now. Oh, my canary.
Sit back, relax.
Yeah, relax. You don't get to freak out the way we freak out.
And brace yourself for truly one of the most insane games ever.
Flip the lights on, Jesse. Let's go to the scene.
Flip the lights on. Woo!
Yeah, for the car. I have to hold on. Naked Gun?
Yeah.
Da-da-da! We're both driving. It's one of those driver's ed cars.
Yeah.
All right, to begin, this game is up there on the shelf now with the equally bad good Deadly Premonition 2.
You can feel it trying to be Deadly Premonition, and it misses the mark.
The best way to think about this game is as if Tommy Wiseau was trying to make a Yakuza game set in a cyberpunk world, and then halfway through gave it to the Birdemic guy to direct. And he had no clue what he was doing.
It never adds up.
Never. I actually spent time after I beat it trying to piece together what the hell this story was.
It's not only a garbage story, but it gives you all of these juicy morsels that you're like, oh, maybe this is something. Nope, nothing. Just nothing after nothing after nothing.
I think I figured it out though. We will talk about it.
This game would have been my favorite game on the PlayStation 2.
With the bouncer.
You can absolutely feel that early Square Enix kind of vibe, right? Because our main characters are pretty cool, but the villains are all terrible. There's fake Tom Cruise, right? That guy's awful. Main guy looks like he's supposed to be in a Final Fantasy game, but casting was like, no, thank you. We have your headshot. We'll call you.
Oh, you mean Richter? Yeah, that's the most 2001 PlayStation 2 name I've ever heard. But you're completely accurate. This game has the same voice acting quality as those early PlayStation 2 games. It reminded me, as I was playing, I was thinking of Time Crisis, where it's like, come on, we've got to go. But then just add a Swiss accent?
She must be dead by now.
Don't come!
I have some eggs, beans, bacon, make it 4 slices. No, 5. Definitely 5.
When you watch a professional theater, like a play on Broadway, they elevate this art form and you just feel taken away with them. Never once did she ever make me feel relaxed. Every word out of her mouth felt struggled. I never connected with her.
Not once. And what's crazy is the only character I did connect to was the bald android lady.
Yes!
When she was on screen for the limited time she was being interrogated or kissing the other android guy, she actually was acting. I was like, oh, this is different. You can tell the difference, which is jarring in a game like this.
Do you know what recall is? We don't get recycled, if that's what you're thinking.
What happens when you get recalled?
New mission, new memories, if any.
So they just make you forget things?
I don't want to forget things.
I get it. Stop the drama, okay?
In Pee Wee Herman, there's an episode where Zizi Baluba comes from space to chase one of his underlings paid by Miss Avant in a bald wig. That's what it looked like, and I was instantly like, let's go. Let's go, Miss Avant. I'm totally down for this hot crash test dummy.
It's so hard to just start this video and explain the game to you because it is both entirely insane and also one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Ninja Gaiden to a 10 and NES game game a super difficult game.
How did you fare in the game? Because for me, I immediately recognized something within myself. One, that I sucked at it.
Yes.
And two, it came off as something akin to when you and I would play fighting games.
Yeah.
And you would know when to attack and when to block and the button combos, but more importantly, not spamming buttons, which is something I've always done because I was raised on Dynasty Warrior games and RPGs and things. So I spam buttons like crazy, hoping it'll go off.
You're just trying to save the Empire from Lu Bu. You're just trying to save the Empire.
I know, and it always worked then, so I don't know why it's not working now.
Yeah.
But it has that same vibe of when you and I would play those because I realized then, boy, I suck at that. And I felt the same way here because it has the exact same mechanic bones as a fighting game like that, but with the difficulty of something like Absolver.
But in other difficult games, you feel rewarded by learning the systems. Never once do I ever feel comfortable or I'm doing cool stuff. It's always so stressful.
I thought I was so bad at this game that I went and did the tutorials on how to learn to play. I failed the tutorials. So I figured maybe it was the controller. You know, I've been playing PlayStation games for a long time. I'm using an Xbox controller now. Maybe I'm like out of practice, so I'll try.
Sure, that's what it is.
Yeah, I was like, I'll try mouse and keyboard. And at first, it looked totally feasible.
Yeah.
Until I realized all the mouse and keyboard buttons are insane.
Just all over the place.
All over the place, so I tried to remap things and I tried to put stuff on my mouse. Did not help at all. And if anything, it made it more difficult because the run button wasn't where you think run would be.
Correct.
It was like left control or something insane. And so I'm trying to figure out how to play this thing. I was like, screw it. I'll just go back to controller. Shooting with mouse and keyboard, way easier.
But this isn't a shooting game. It's not a shooting game. It's not a
But
sword
it is
game.
kind of, because then there's moments where you have to duck behind a thing because a wave of guys is coming at you.
Right.
And until you unlock some of your abilities later, at the beginning, it's better to just end up ducking and playing it like Gears of War.
Yes.
You're taking cover and you're shooting, and later, as you unlock more abilities, you can use your twin stick time slow
Sure.
and kill like 50 guys on the screen. It looks amazing. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It feels like you're in a John Wick movie.
Yes.
And then the game makes you feel like you need to block and parry and dodge and shoot to disarm and whatever, but that doesn't even seem to work that well. I'm gonna let you in a secret. I'm gonna tell you something.
Tell me.
I realized I was gonna have trouble when the ninjas in the first level gave me a problem.
God damn the swear word. King ninjas.
I would try to block them. I'd try to learn what to do. They were just throwing star me to death.
Yep.
It was impossible for me. So once I finally realized, oh, just run away and shoot them as they chase you, which is the cheesiest cheese I've ever done.
It is the only way to do it.
I literally went online and typed in, is there a way to get lower difficulty settings? Because we haven't even talked about the difficulty settings in this game are normal, hard, and Japanese hard.
Yes.
Which is locked.
Well, you haven't even asked about my... Listen, I was able to beat the tutorial. I was doing pretty good. I died in that one big room early on. All the guys come out of all the different spots.
Sure.
Died there a couple of times. Then we get to our fucking first ninja.
That guy's a
Awful.
dick.
I didn't know that you could start using your skill tree. I thought that that was a thing. So I didn't know that I was supposed to be more buffed up. So I would spec into defense and then I'd maybe go into offense. Offense was a joke. You would just go into defense. I lost to the ninja so many times, the game was like, oh, you're a goo goo gaga baby, right? Do you want to go on easy mode? I went on easy mode and then died another 5 times.
Can I tell you something? I didn't know about Goo Goo Gaga baby mode, so I went on the internet.
You found the code? The up, up, down, down?
Yeah, up, down, left, right. On the title screen unlocks Neko mode, something like that.
Our main character,
Chibi baby Neko mode.
yeah, has cute little cat ears in the game.
It's a shame thing. They put cat ears on your character so that if you ever show it to anyone, everyone knows you suck ass.
Surprise, bitch! She looks better with cat ears on.
I agree.
And the whole game, I'm like, the game doesn't get easier.
I will say, I disagree. I think it got too easy. Once I had Neko mode and I realized that at that point, guys shooting you really didn't do as much damage, I would run out and sword play the hell out of everyone. And then I became a badass. And then suddenly I had 1,000,000 experience points or skill points. And I'm spending them all over the place. And by the time I hit the park level, I was pretty invincible.
Park level is so dope because you get to unlock where, like, if they're missing an arm or a leg, you just kill them. You would just ball through guys. It has so many great ideas, but they're all so unconnected. You feel so cool when you have the chainsaw, but it takes so long to get to the chainsaw, people are gonna quit this game. And then the game is not charming. You never want to hang out with with these people.
Speaking of the chainsaw,
Let's go to
before we get
chainsaw.
to the people, because you have to run up to guys to attack them. And there are times where you run up to a dude and he just fires a gun in your face and you're dead.
Yep.
Or you attack him, and as you attack him, his attack will still hit you as you kill him with a chainsaw, killing you. And it really doesn't make sense that they include a bunch of different weapons that you can pick up as like a secondary weapon, and then like a third bonus weapon. So the rocket launcher, the chainsaw is the third bonus, but then you can pick up just like a normal SMG or some nonsense. And that's another gun, when really it should have been, you have one gun and your sword and your pistol, and that's it. There's no reason to pick up additional weapons.
All of that stuff is just wasted time.
Honestly, I don't know. It's never explained to you.
Nothing is explained to you in this game, and you would think like, oh, okay, well, that's because I'm supposed to figure it out. There's nothing to figure out. There's just nothing there. And then, because of this failure system where I'm failing over and over again, when you got to ramen, did you think you had to beat the ramen game to continue the game?
We need to just talk about what the story of this game is.
Okay.
Because we can't say, did you get to the ramen part, and not explain how you get to the ramen part.
You know a game is bad when it's like a Swiss Army knife, but none of the Swiss Army pieces work very well.
In a Yakuza game, it has karaoke and eating ramen or doing a dance. It has moments like that, but they're mini games that make sense in the world because you're like a dude living your life in the big city and you go have fun every once in a while. This is in between segments of both violence, anime, wandering around, and then talking to your crew. You then end up in a cutscene that leads to a mini game that is totally random.
All of the mini games feel crazy and out of touch with what's going on in the game. Because as I'm playing those missions, like those dancing games, I'm like, you fuck spent your time doing this, and you could have made combat better.
You could have made combat.
You could have,
yes.
me and you could make a better story right now. When we got to that weird Eyes Wide Shut level, I was like, okay, there's some stuff going on here. I can see what's going on. Nope, never puts it together.
From the beginning, let's just start from the beginning. We have to walk people through this insanity, and I'm gonna try and do it in a way that makes sense, knowing that none of this makes sense. So the story is about Zombie Unit, which is this elite squad of former psychopaths that is hired by the Hong Kong police to work at cleaning up the streets, I guess. Think of it like Suicide Squad, but less cool. And on it is Hannah Stone, our main character, and then American guy, German guy, and deaf guy. And together with the captain and gunsmith, who is the person that maintains all the weapons, you clean the streets up by murdering everyone. Oh, and because it's set in the future, a lot of the characters have cool cyborg gear. And so Hannah Stone is pulled out of prison.
Her name was A1120 is what her name was.
And when you first meet her, she's blonde. The next scene, there's a woman with dark hair. It took me 5 minutes to realize that was the same character.
Same lady.
They dyed her hair, never explained it, didn't make any connections except for eventually they were like, oh yeah, Hannah. I was like, wait, that's Hannah?
Why would they tell you? Why would they make you invested in any of these characters at all?
The only characterization in this game is that the American guy and the German guy give each other a hard time, and they'll say stuff like, you go down on your sister, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
What do you mean? Hold on. Is the one who uses sign language, is he deaf?
Yes.
Then why is he part of an elite squad with guns? Like, I need you to be able to hear me in the field.
What I don't understand is he's deaf in a world where people have cyborg enhancements. Our main character has a robot arm. Why doesn't he have robot ears? I think if this was a normal game set in a not futuristic world, it would make perfect sense. It would be easily understandable. They're friends and they all sign together and it's fine. But the game shows us that people transcend their limitations with mechanical bits. But none of that matters anyway, because in the time we are introduced to this world and the sexy waitress and the dudes all fawning over her, you go stop a robbery. In the very first thing, I was like, okay, so this game's gonna be...
You mean you fight those Dead Space guys? All those Dead Space guys with their Dead Space helmets as you run around that room with their one lights on?
They're like various commando guys,
Those commando guys will rip off Dead Space guys, and they know it.
You go through this level that is one of the hardest starting levels I've ever played in anything ever.
Jesse, I knew I was gonna have trouble in this game when your main character can't jump. You just walk into a wall, it's like, I'm sorry, there's a chair there, you gotta go somewhere else.
Well, that's why I was like, oh, it's gears. You duck and you cover. And so for the intro, it's like, okay, I hide behind stuff. And at first, I was using mouse and keyboard. I was like, I can't do, it doesn't work. So I switched back to controller and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but now I'm shooting with the controller and I'm terrible at that. And so that was a pain in the ass. But then I was like, okay, they want me to level up and use my sword. So screw it. now that I'm in extra kitty mode, I'm gonna just use my sword and murder people. So I'm blowing through this first level, and I realize how far I actually didn't get in the first level.
Wow.
Because how bad I was. After you deal with all the banter of your teammate being terrible and learning the level up / change out your weapon load up system,
Which is nonsense. It's garbage.
it offers nothing.
It offers nothing.
Yeah, and so I realized the way the game works, take the handgun for example, yes, it does let you adjust the range on it, and so you can sacrifice range for increased damage or stopping power. But the range doesn't matter on your pistol.
Doesn't matter. It always
especially
just
if you're
auto.
up close, or if you get off like a super kill combo, it still shoots guys like 50 yards away.
It is a game where you always have to constantly be aware of what is around you, because if you're not, you're going to die. And later on in the game, your handgun is the only thing to orient yourself sometimes.
It'll auto turn you in different
It
directions.
auto-turns
Yeah.
you. It's a bug part of a feature. You know what I mean? It's not something
Sure.
they intended for, but it was the only way to orient myself. You never get to choose your own adventure. All of these open spaces, they're not. It's a gated sandbox.
It's like someone said, how can we make Metal Gear Solid Revengeance on a budget? Because it
Yeah.
has the same vibe.
Yeah.
But it's not as fun to play. It doesn't have the same mechanics. And more importantly, it's like they saw a game like Sifu and said, we want it to be like that, where if you get surrounded, you're done. There's never really a way out. If you're in a corner, if there's like 3 guys around you, it's always death for you. So you always have to be careful where you're standing and what you're doing. Again, it reminded me of fighting games because you have to be careful of where you're positioned and what block you're gonna do. And
Block doesn't work. Let's just say
It did not
block
work.
works half the time.
if you attack and a guy attacks you, if you whiff that attack, your follow through is
Garbage.
so long.
Yeah.
That when they attack you, I would spam the LB button, try my hardest to get a block off, and maybe a third of the time it worked. The only time I could ever do it was when I was with someone 1v1.
Yeah, we have to get back to how garbage the progression of the game is. By the end of mid-level 3, my skill tree was all the way maxed out.
Maxed out.
And then it's like, okay, well now I guess I'm playing the game the way they want me to, but you never feel overpowered. I want double the skill tree. I want her to have an EMP where she can get guys off her. There's nothing that wants to make you go further into these levels. And now once you know it, it's like, okay, that's good. I did it.
I felt the exact opposite. I was way overpowered, but once you get to the end of the first level, that first boss, that robot walker thing from Ghost in the Shell,
It's so Ghost in the Shell.
and again, it feels like they just pulled from 18 different things they loved and crammed them all into one game poorly.
Yeah, everybody,
It's crazy.
they asked everybody in the room, what was your favorite anime in the 7th grade? And a bunch of hands went up and they were like, Akira. And then a bunch of hands went up and they were like, Ghost in the Shell. They're like, great, guess what? It's all going in.
It really felt like that. And I don't know why I still came out the other end like, all right, I'm glad I played that. I can't recommend it to any human
We
being.
do not recommend it to you. The game is not the sum of its parts, but there's all these great choices in the game. There's
Yes.
fun music choices in the game. Music is batshit crazy. You go on a murderous rampage and you show up and it's like puppy music. It's like DDR4
It
mix.
is all 80s music, either remixed or straight up just taken. And there is one scene, I think it may be the ramen scene, now that I'm thinking about it, where it's like, when I think about you, I touch myself. That's
Yes.
the background of the ramen scene.
I wrote it, and then I was like, oh my god, there's like sexual tension. Nope, this scene means nothing for the rest of the world.
They keep bringing up the fact that the gunsmith is into different guys on the team, but some guys into her, and then
It all goes nowhere.
So you get to that boss of the first level. Again, I'm not sure what it would have been like normal, because I didn't play it on normal.
Who are you? Who are you, normal man? Who are you playing this game?
Better than me,
You're
better
the-
than us.
This isn't a game for normal people.
Yeah, you are the best. So we're just gonna say that now. And so I got to this robot and he's walking around, and at first I was like, okay, so what do I need to hit? And there are little joints that glow. I was like, okay, maybe I hit the joints that glow. Well, the gun was too slow.
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta get in there with my sword and attack this guy. All right, so I run in, and in kitty mode, took this thing down so quickly, and now it's phase 2. And I'm like, okay, except I don't know what it was like for you, but he kept moving around, like non-stop moving, and so I couldn't swing at him, because when I go swing, he just move out of the way. So it was me chasing around a robot for 5 minutes trying to get hits off, because he wasn't attacking me, and I couldn't attack him. So I'm just running around the arena as he's destroying the arena, and the one guy,
The doctor guy, the guy with the big beard.
yeah, and he's just sitting there like, do you need help? Can I help you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, someone do something. And finally, I think I got one hit off, and then it took me to a cutscene. I was like, wait, did I do it? And the minute you destroy that thing, suddenly you're surrounded by a bunch of armed security and evil anime villain Richter. And he's like, well, don't mess with me, girl, or I'll kill you. And then the captain appears and is like, hold up now, don't do that. And I guess from what I think they try to explain is that the villains work for the banks. We learn, once you complete the first level, that as you explore the police station, Hannah has seizures, blackouts, something, where she suddenly becomes an anime cutscene. When it first happened, I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know if you're aware of this, on the website and for promotional materials before this, there was a whole thing about the waitress, about the gunsmith before she became the gunsmith. There is a lore thing built into their website.
Why? You don't,
Great question.
nothing about the game
Great
makes me
question.
want to get more of those answers because those characters are all so secondary within the story.
Well, don't worry, you can get all the answers you want because once you end up back in the police station, before your anime cutscene.
Oh, are we talking about the claw machine?
Oh, yes. You are scolded by the captain, like in all good cop detective things. He's like, you're out of your league. You're getting people killed.
you're ruining everything.
Yeah, and so your squad goes on break or whatever, and you get to wander around the police station, and it is 3-4 floors of almost nothing.
Garbage.
Except for every once in a while you find a purple thing that gives you some information on a teammate.
Yeah, if you're playing this game, find the purple pieces of information because it'll get you experience to then level up your tree, which
True.
makes it easier. That's really the only reason
The
for
information
exploration.
is a great example is when you look at all the people like German guy.
Yeah.
It literally just says mass murderer committed a bunch of, he's just like Hannah. Everyone on your team apparently was recruited by the captain. And at the beginning, you see that scene where they're in jail. Well, she's in jail and she's recruited to come help because they're all criminals. In another world, in another game, that would be kind of a cool premise. It's been done before, but it's fun.
Did you win anything from the claw machines?
I spent so much time on the claw machine.
As soon as I saw a claw machine, I'm like, oh, well, Jesse's gonna lose 6 hours to this alone.
I spent hours on the claw machine, and it was infuriating because there's some areas where the claw will not hit.
Yes.
And so you have to kick the claw machine in order to get it to move. But sometimes the kicks won't work, and you only have 3 kicks before it boots you off the claw machine, and you have to reload into the minigame.
If you get the guns, do you ever get a new gun?
It just gives you statistical information about the guns.
Like, again,
It doesn't give you a new gun, it just gives you info.
You have time to make a claw machine game, but you don't have an option to make me one other gun?
So there's 2 claw machines. One is where characters are. And so when you first get there, as you start picking out characters, you get information on them and you get their sort of rap sheet. And then once you get 1 or 2 characters, it restocks it with new characters. I was like, oh, okay. So I went back, I saw the waitress was there. Clicked the waitress, got her, everything seemed fine. I was like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. Like, it doesn't give me anything good.
Sure.
Let's go to Claw Machine 2. Claw Machine 2 is filled with baubles and poop and the cat.
Yeah.
And that one was super easy because all the things are shaped like shit a claw can grab.
Sure.
Meanwhile, the other one was figures that were standing tall that had no place to grab on. It was infuriating. But the other one, I got all the little things in it. And in those, it was music and other little things that you could play with. And then you go back and talk to people around the office.
Everyone treats you like shit at the police station. All the other cops hate you. There's that weird DA woman that I thought was gonna be a story. Nope, that's nothing.
I forgot about her, dude.
Yeah, because it's a garbage plot point. It goes nowhere. They have that scene where they're like, you know, you gotta really ship up or shape out around here, and then she just disappears.
Wait, whoa.
Goes
Does she
nowhere.
ever show up after that first introduction?
No, maybe one other time she's in the room, because she's not in the room the second time you go around the police station to find shit. She's not in the room anymore.
My
she
God.
just goes away.
I forgot she existed.
Of course you do. I didn't remember it till right now because it's a garbage plot point.
She shows up, like warns you to act right, and then you can wander into her office and she's like, well, remind me to talk to you later. And she never talks to you again.
Plot points that go nowhere. And then you're like, wait, was that important? Was there a side mission I missed?
Maybe that's again, because it's just a week in the life of these people at their job that we only see the 1 week that it's like, I'll talk to you on Monday. I thought, oh, that's the ball buster. She never appears again.
Or maybe we were going to see some twist where that's the big boss and I've been watching you this whole time and actually I'm the one. Nothing.
You give this game way too much credit. I, honest to God, forgot that existed.
Of course you did. 'Cause
Holy
it goes nowhere. It's linked to nothing. It never comes up again.
That sums up the entire game.
Yeah.
Right there is just now we remembered a thing that happened in hour 1 of the game that is never happens again and was a promised plot point.
Completely dropped. Completely dropped.
So then, as you go to, it's either before you meet Gunsmith or right after you meet Gunsmith.
Oh, they make you go see Gunsmith for no reason. It's a garbage of a mission.
Except they talk about like how she has a bunch of cats and those cats have names and
Oh, this game fails that test where if 2 women enter a scene, all they talk about is dudes. They can't even have a conversation about cats and guns. They instantly start talking about dudes they want to fuck.
yeah, she's asking about her love life and it's a weird scene altogether because none of the acting like isn't very good.
Yes.
Or it's foreign actors trying to read English, which
Maybe.
never works. And I feel terrible because there's often times where Hannah or Gunsmith or whoever would say something and I'd be like, oh, they're like, that's a really good line read. And then immediately the follow-up would be like something completely unbearable and I have no idea who was the director.
Hannah's voice actor sounds like me playing this game. I don't want to be there. When is this over? Let's get out of here.
You don't live together anymore?
We do. Kinda. Sorta. He drops by every now and then. We watch a movie or something. I feel like we are done, you know? But he's still coming back with the weight of the whole world on his shoulders.
That was the one you chose? You recorded all day and that was the best line you got?
It is weird that they didn't do several takes. It feels like they just went with the first one they got. But then after that scene, Hannah has her blackout and the anime moment starts. And it is a scene where Hannah is in the past. It doesn't look like Hannah, but we can assume it's her because she's the one who blacked out and then it started. And she's walking around a house, looking at stuffed animals, and then we see drugs.
Which I assumed were hers, or maybe they were her brother. I don't know, but you're right. Yeah, okay, there's drugs there.
There's drugs there, and then the scene ends. And I was like, what the hell? Because it's not a cool action anime scene.
No.
Nothing important happens there. We also get a scene where Hannah arrives at a house and a dead woman is on the ground and like a junkie shows up and it's like, I tried to get him to stop, man. I tried to get... And she kills him because he pulls his gun on her. And we see a boy in a room and they do that scene where it's the kid who's clearly experienced a lot of trauma. And he's like, you're different from other cops. And she sits with him and waits for the police to arrive. And they have a connection and you're not sure what that connection is.
Totally forgot about that scene. Totally forgot about that scene. Yeah. Which is foreshadowing for later, but like at the time you're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. And then you select next mission and suddenly ramen. I thought this was going to be a continuation of the scene where they're talking about boys, but then Herzog shows up. He steals their ramen, starts slurping it directly from the bowl. They start to talk about how to eat ramen correctly. And then a minigame starts. And again, in the background, when I think about you, I touch myself. It was crazy.
And then this rhythm ramen game you play is not a well-timed rhythm game like DDR. It's more like the Jungle Book dancing game for the PlayStation 1 because inputs are so weird. They're faster than you think they are. And of course, I thought I had to beat it. Kept getting stuck on level 3 over and over and over and over again because eventually you just have to hit all the buttons at once.
Like I said at the beginning, I haven't played on an Xbox controller in maybe 8 or 9 video games, which, you know, last few months. So my brain was not wired to play an Xbox. So every time it said X, I'd go where the PlayStation X was and it would be like, "Mwah." So the minute it ended, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm done. Yeah. The only difference is when you do it correctly, just like with the other mini games, the scene changes a little bit. But other than that, did not care.
Great.
And then immediately the game is like, there's androids going crazy in a park. We need you to take them out.
This level feels like something you would get on like the CDs from Pizza Hut, right? You get like one part of a level to play. It feels exactly like that.
It's insane because you as Hannah have to mark out people for your team to shoot. And we're now in a Sniper Elite game.
Yes.
Where you're pointing at guys saying fire and then the slow-mo bullet flies across the screen, hits them, and depending on where they're they go, like blood goes everywhere. Which, by the way, a lot of blood for android
so
cyborgs.
Much blood for an android. And usually when they do it in like Samurai Jack, you got to make it black so it's oiled. Nope, this is just blood.
Blood everywhere. After you kill a few of them, you land, and now you're doing the cyberpunk you run through slicing guys up, but
You're
in a park.
slicing, you're dicing, you're shooting exploding barrels, you're grabbing dudes, you're quick killing them.
So many exploding barrels.
So many exploding
For
barrels.
a place with a jungle gym and like kids playground, literally 4 dozen exploding barrels.
And again, none of that felt like Hong Kong. I forgot we were in Hong Kong. I thought we were in Paris. The whole time I was like, okay, this is like a weird Neo-Paris. Okay.
Suddenly, it becomes Detroit Become Human. Where
Right out of nowhere.
There's a leader who is trying to liberate the cyborg people, and at first 12 cyborg dudes show up to fight you, and he's launching rockets into them, killing them as they try to kill you, which is already insane when you think about the ending.
None of this make any sense.
And so finally he jumps down and tries to fight you. You do this kind of cool battle with him. It's nice to have a one-on-one fight. That was interesting. But at a certain point, he throws down his sword. We can do this hand-to-hand combat. I just pulled up my gun and kept shooting him.
Yeah, of course you did. That's exactly what I did. What do you mean hand-to-hand combat?
I just backed away and kept shooting him. What an idiot. It was a non-fight. And then he gets away with the help of the bald construction worker android lady who tries to leave with him, but when he is shot, he drops her. And it's fortunate that we have her to interrogate because everyone else is dead. It is a bloodbath. The captain shows up like, God damn! You guys killed so many people! And you're like, bro, you hired mass murderers!
And they bring this up that you killed all these people, never any consequences. Nothing
Never.
ever happens. It never takes away from the story. Nothing ever happens.
It makes sense why the banks and like the bad guy hate you, because you're truly killing so many people.
You interrogate the robot girl because then you have to leave and you walk around and you find more purple papers.
Yeah, you go interrogate this robot girl, and she sits there and tells you, look, what you think you know isn't real. You don't even know what's going on. We have feelings and emotions. You are more robotic than me. How do you know that you're not one of me?
Okay, let's go do karaoke now.
And again, they pose this question immediately like, maybe there is something going on here. And the story's about to get real weird about what it means to be alive and if Hannah really is more like the androids than like a human. Nah, all that's forgotten. We're going to the diner to talk about banging and then do karaoke.
99 Luftballons auf ihrem Weg zum Horizont. Wie man führe Fuß aus dem All. Darum steht ein General.
Dun 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 dun.
Again, the Xbox controller got me. There's moments I had to play through it a bunch of times because I want to see what would happen, what would change. And all that changes is the crew watching go from looking at their phones most of the time to bopping along to the music to finally being interested. Hannah and Gunsmith act the exact same way the entire time, and it's actually kind of charming because it's fun to see them either be good or bad at karaoke. Doesn't matter. They're still having a good time. They could suck and they're having a blast.
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside.
I can't wake up!
Wake me up inside.
Save me!
Having a great time.
I kind of loved that. I thought that was cute.
Again, though, you don't have to do anything. They spent some time on this. Great. Go to the next garbage set
You could
piece.
literally mega fail, which I did the first time I played. The song ended. It was a non-thing. I don't know what achieving perfection on that would get me, and I don't think it's really anything.
Now we go fight the boys in the club.
Yes.
Which is like more difficult because it's just you and one other person. But this might be the best level in the game. I really enjoyed because this was the first time I felt powerful. I felt like I was Hannah. We were doing cool stuff together.
And it also, for the first time, felt like you were in a big city, in a future club. And it all sort of came together because the first 2 levels, you just go attack Nakatomi Tower.
It's 100% Nakatomi Tower.
The next one was you're just in a park for some damn reason.
You know, the park.
But this time felt like I am living the potential of this game, being John Wick in a club, taking dudes out. It looks super cool. We're finally there. It felt like it was gonna go to a place.
And that's what I thought. I was like, okay, I've been judging this game too harshly. But then the next 2 levels are just wave of dude, hard hallway, smaller room, conference room. The set pieces are never fun.
They're attacking the police station and you're like, oh, okay.
But before the police station and after the club, you play a pretty good NES shooter that was pretty fun.
It's in the same room as the Claw game, and now you just have access to it.
Well, she goes and meets the guy at the arcade because because he never sleeps because she can't sleep because I guess she's disturbed now.
Right.
So they play that game.
Well, because we get a scene, and this time we learn.
Oh, yeah, we see her in the club, right? When we're walking through the club, she has her weird flashback.
She has a flashback of herself being in that club in anime form, and we learn again a little bit more about her past. It doesn't seem to connect in any way, but we're getting glimpses. And throughout all of it, it's got this really weird vibe that is borderline erotic.
They do not make Hannah sexy. They never over-sexualize her.
But the dialogue is so vague. Like, a great example is the last anime cutscene we get. She's at a table with a man who turns on a camera, and he's like, so.
Oh, you mean the porn shoot where I was like, oh my God.
That's what I thought was going to happen, dude.
I don't have any money for the drugs.
She's like, so we get anime cutscene of her at the club, and then the next anime cutscene is of her seeing a doctor, and he's like, tuberculosis is not to be messed with. Here are the pills. They'll cost $8,000 a month.
Oh my God, imagine that.
And again, this is a future world with robot arms, and tuberculosis is the thing that's costing people an arm and a leg.
And she's freaking out because she can't afford it. And she's like, what about insurance? And he's like, that just affords the rides to the hospital and all that testing stuff. This is $8,000 a month. And so she leaves in angry rage, and he does this weird grin. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. So why is he in on some scheme to get her? What is this about? And then the last anime cutscene, and again, this is probably out of order for the story, but it's her talking with a guy at the very, very end of the game.
Very end.
And it's her talking to this man. He sets up a camera, and he's like, so, why are you here? She's like, well, I need money, and I was told that you can give me money. He's like, okay. Does your mom know you're here?
Do your parents know what you're doing?
And she's like, no, I didn't tell them. I have a son.
How old were you? Tell me your age.
Yeah, and she's I think she said she had him when she was 15.
Yeah, he was real young.
And he asked about the boyfriend of the father. We learn he's out of the picture, and she clearly hates him. And all the things she's doing is because this kid has tuberculosis, and so she wants to help him. And I'm gonna let you know, I was really confused with this scene because it definitely had the vibe of one of those had to make ends meet.
Now, if the camera was up in the corner like a security camera, like Metal Gear Solid,
that would
I would
more
say,
sense.
oh, okay, she's secretly being recorded. It looks like she's on Backroom Casting Couch. It looks like terrible things are gonna happen.
But he says that the corporation he works for is going to take care of everything. Don't stress it. All you have to do is sign here.
And you won't even remember.
A year from now, you'll wake up and you won't remember everything. We'll take care of your son. Don't stress it. And so it's with that scene that I finally think I pieced together what was going on in this story. But that's it. Like, that's where the game ends.
But then she does remember, because we have that scene where she calls on the telephone.
Hello?
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my.
That's the thing. So,
Do you think she's checking in on that boy from the other room?
Yes, absolutely.
What the fuck? I thought it was her son. I was so confused. I'm like, how can
if
she remember
had her
this?
son at 15, that would have been before 2004.
Do you think the son is the bald woman? The bald robot woman?
No, I don't think.
Do you think that?
We got to go back because we're already ahead. So the big reveal at the last level.
Let's talk about the garbage of last level.
The police are under attack by, again, banks?
Yeah, the guys in the paramilitary group that are allowed to just attack the police.
And Richter, we see a cutscene that happens much later, but it's sort of a flashback of Richter approaching the captain in the police station. I believe this happens right before the raid, I guess. Richter says to the captain, you know, the banks are gonna take over everything, and the captain's like, look, just don't destroy my unit and we'll be good. And Richter's like, bro, I can't do that because I hate Hannah Stone.
Yeah, and then he's like, all right, if you come for us, we're gonna come after you.
And he says Hannah can never learn the truth. So already I'm like, okay, there's a plot happening here that we're gonna learn as we go through the levels, and everything's gonna make sense. But the police came under attack, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're going to now be on our own. We're gonna go through like 5 or 6 more levels. We're on our own, we do stuff. No, dude, there's one level.
You end up fighting Nazi Tom Cruise in that hallway when he turns into Double Boys.
Yeah.
Right, okay, you fight the Double Boys. A litany of ninjas come at you. Is this the first time you fight one of the big boys in the metal armor? With all the grenades and the
I was so over the sound because every paramilitary guy, when he dies, goes, he makes the exact same noise.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're in 2023 still fighting bad guys that sound like they're in Donkey Kong Country. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, okay, another one of those.
And you manage to make it out.
Yeah, you make it out.
And you're like, I gotta take down this Richter son of a bitch.
Then you go street to street, and the music that's playing is like triumphant music, like, you're gonna do it. The level is never ending. You go up, you go down, you go sideways. It never feels like you're making any progress, and it's just one difficult room into another difficult room.
And while all this is going on, they just slip in the fact that, remember those androids that you were fighting? They're actually just real people.
Oh, yeah, you're a mass murderer. You're just a murderer who murders people.
Her name is October. She's August's pet.
Stone, she's 100% human, but the actual fuck.
Either they are people put in android shells, or they're people cyborged to look like androids. Either way, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And then it's like, oh, okay, so all that blood I saw was actually blood that I saw. Yeah.
We murdered tons of people, but then it makes even less sense that the liberator of these people was firing rockets into crowds of them to stop me.
Okay, keep going through the garbage levels. Okay, so you're going up rafters, you're going up lots of things. It feels like somebody played Cyberpunk and they're like, let's do the PS2 version. Because this game reminds me a lot. Did you ever play Fighting Force for the PlayStation 1?
Yes.
That opening level through the tower, I was like, this is Fighting Force. I'm going to get to play as all these people. Fighting Force for the PlayStation 1 is a better game than this.
The ending level is my least favorite level.
It sucks so hard. And then that end part, you get like 3 ninjas in a row, right? And then they introduce white ninjas.
Why introduce that in the last level?
Why wasn't there more levels? Especially if you're going to have these levels that are super hard. Why not have fun levels?
This game, I think, is designed to be extremely hard because they only created 5 total levels. And I don't mean that in like a good way. I think they made 5 levels and were like, oh crap, we need to up the difficulty or else people will beat this in 3 hours.
And I paid for your game, a full price, thank you very much. And it is, maybe do less ramen mini games and give me 2 more levels. Give me something that feels great.
There's only 2 real mini games.
Oh, you're right.
Everything else is a claw machine or the like Space Invaders, whatever
I
that
consider the
side-scrolling
Space Invaders, that's a mini game to me. It is like a full game, but it's basically a mini game.
You're right. Why spend time on that and
So
not
many
make a good normal game?
And then because when you're in super easy mode, the duck and cover system is no longer even needed. So it's like, well, maybe just make this a better sword game. Like there's all these other things I wish they would have spent time on. Okay, so now you fight your way, you fight a bunch of ninjas, and then you get to
our good boy Richter. A fight where
felt like the fight in Final Fantasy where you're fighting the head of the
Shinra, Rufus.
Yes, this felt like a Rufus fight. And as I was doing it, there's 2 parts to it. Both parts are difficult. I will hear your experience with it, but I was like, okay, after this, there's going to be another guy.
Nope. It just ends.
No fun thing, no cool putting all the mechanics together, just credits.
I had trouble at first trying to figure out what his like pattern was.
There is no pattern, Jesse.
Look, I wanted to get good footage of this game for our video.
It's going to be bad. Whatever you're looking at right now is garbage footage. I
wanted to
you.
get the best footage I could, and I realized at some point that's impossible. I'm just gonna play how I play, and if it means running from ninjas or attacking a guy with ridiculous abilities that are so cheesy that it breaks the game, basically, then sure, I'm gonna do it, because I don't care.
You get grenades, the grenades suck, the incendiary grenades are better. Those suck because if you throw them at the wrong angle, you just
I've set
die.
myself on fire so many times doing that I never did it again.
Sometimes you would throw it at them, it would hit their sprite, but would still light you on fire. Or sometimes the ceiling would just light on fire for no reason. All of these different mechanics, they're never fun. It's not like you have different keys for certain locks. All of the keys is one key. It's a keyblade, it's a sword, and that's all you use.
The game ends.
Yeah, credits.
There's a scene where she calls
the little boy.
The little boy. I assumed it was the little boy because I didn't piece together that she had a kid until the scene after.
Okay, yes.
And so I can understand how maybe one would think, oh, she called her son. But again, if she said in that one interview, I was 15 when I had that kid, she was 19 in 2004.
Oh, okay. Really great point. Really great.
There's no way that's a little boy. So I was like, okay, that's the little boy from the beginning. And she, because she lost her son, and this is, I'm just going to read to you what I wrote down.
Okay, great. Because it's probably accurate. I don't think I wrote any more notes. I was so disgusted with how difficult that last level was and dying so many times to those ninjas that I was like, whatever, my rage will carry me through.
We learned her real name is Emma Lautner.
Again, why? What does that matter?
for the anime cutscene.
Sure.
And she had a kid when she was 15 who became sick. He's the one with TB. So when she goes in to see the doctor, she needs that tuberculosis for the kid. The doctor was like, so it costs $8,000 a month. And so she's forced to go apply.
Who is forcing her? Why? Why is she special? Why does she need to be a robot woman? Why did she give up her life? Why does she look different than she does in the anime?
Well, here's the thing. She signs on with this corporation. She meets the captain in this paramilitary organization, and they become friends. There, she commits a bunch of war crimes, and she takes this drug, these pills they give her, that are gonna make her forget a year, right? But I think what ends up happening is she forgets everything.
Everything.
And either the company does take care of her kid and she forgets she has a kid, which is why she has these blackouts and flashbacks that are letting us know that she is trying to remember, or the kid died and they just made her into a war criminal. Either way.
It's almost then like a RoboCop situation, but we never feel for Hannah. At no
Not
point
once.
was I like, oh, okay, like that's the truth of it. I never feel for her, and all I do is make her die when I play as her.
We got that flashback of her saving that boy, and what we learn in the cutscene where she calls him at the shelter is that she's been taking care of him. And I think he is a proxy for her, and that she doesn't quite understand why she wants to take care of him, but she does. And the woman on the phone is basically saying to her, look, you're not the mom. You can't just show up whenever the hell you want. It's not a zoo.
I just figured that was her kid that lived in foster care now or something like that. That was all lost on me. That's such a great connection.
She wanted to take care of him and wanted to be in his life because she was feeling something for a son that she forgot about, or maybe she remembers now and is trying to live through this kid because she can't find the son or something. Unexplained. They don't go into detail.
Don't worry about it. The credits are already playing. Don't even worry about it. We're almost at the end of it.
But the one thing again, the androids are actually human. And Richter, the bad guy, is part of the security force a security force, I guess, that served with the captain at some point. And he has beef with Hannah for reasons I don't quite understand, because he says that Hannah can't know the truth. And my assumption is that it's the kid is either dead or they took the kid and did something with her son. So I don't know. Who knows? But then it also got me to think, when all the androids are actually people, now I was like, oh shit, Hannah's not Emma, because Emma died to give Hannah a bot.
Jesse, it's a ghost in the cell situation. We see our main character die and they bring her back,
yeah,
right? Which makes me feel like maybe that is just the lie they tell this human homunculus to keep going.
If you die in the game, they can bring you back, sir. You're absolutely right.
Right.
And so maybe that's because she can't die, because she's not alive.
There's also like a weird oh, what is she gonna do, right? She is the problem.
And again, the Hannah we see in the beginning has blonde hair, and this character out of nowhere has brown hair and exists separately from that original. And the Hannah we see in the cutscenes of anime has sort of like a bluish blondie spike thing and is an entirely different character.
Yeah, right. If the game feels like Kite, that character feels like Mezzoforte. That's like a weird anime boy with a big crazy hair. It's the sequel to Kite. You should don't watch the unedited, don't watch the uncensored version. Just watch the regular version.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna get a message from someone on the internet that's like, Jesse, Santel's a dirty boy. Because I know you. I know it. This is about to be some like really messed up shit.
There's crazy, very graphic scenes in them.
So this is like late 90s.
This is like early 2000s.
Based on the smile you have, I imagine it is extreme violence and also really
I can't believe you haven't gone down this rabbit hole. I mean, this was the thing I was watching when I was in high school and wasn't supposed to be watching. Probably when I would have liked this video game.
No. I had one video that was given to me by a friend, and I can't remember the plot of it, but what I do remember is that my friend left it in my VCR, and my mom found it, and she was like, what is this? And I was like, nothing, Mommy! I wonder if, based on what is in this game, if there is a dirtier, nastier, more effed up version of this game. Because there's moments where it feels like stuff just is cut.
I bet you're right. I bet this game was like a rated X game or something, and they cut all of it. Because all of the stuff that is like weird blank marks maybe could be lascivious. With your favorite medias, there is plot, like what happens in it, and then there's atmosphere. Deadly Premonition is one of those games where the plot is garbage, but I like the atmosphere. This game has bad plot, bad atmosphere, the mechanics don't work very well. It just feels subpar.
It is
so bad that for some reason, despite me being frustrated with it and knowing how trash this game is, it had a Tommy Wiseau charm to it that I don't understand. I don't understand why at the end I was like, that was ass. But man, I laughed the entire time.
I feel the exact same way. People will say, what are you playing? I said, I'm playing a game. Do not play this game. But there is a room part of it. I want to take my plastic spoon and throw it at the screen. It's not a masterpiece like the Nair games, which are complex, but there is a through line there. This is just random scenes all over the place that feel disconnected. I'm sure somebody knows, and I feel bad for the team if we find out of their budget constraints or time constraints or whatever happened to it.
I mean, there obviously was something.
Jesse, I don't know what happened, but something happened in that office.
Something happened.
I don't know if the boss yelled at somebody and slapped them. I don't know if they were dealing with a lawsuit, but this is a weird final product.
Everything about this game, the things I'll remember are things that are ludicrous.
Well, don't worry, Jesse. All you have to do is take this pill and you won't remember any of it anymore.
You'll forget the last
You'll
year of
forget
your
all
life.
of it. Don't look at these fucking cameras I have over here. They're off. Don't worry about it.
That's the game.
That's it. There's no more.
There's only so many ways we can describe what this is, and I can't even do it properly.
I feel like we're selling this game short. We're not. That's it. There's no more to tell you about.
But it's just insane that any of this was made or released. The way this game looked got me so excited that I bugged him to play it with me on this show just because it looks so good.
This feels like a game they kept saying we'll fix it in post, and then they just forgot to do the post process. They just went right to shipping.
I can't help but think no matter how much we shit on this game, in the end, it's gonna live here rent-free forever.
Forever.
You're gonna say to yourself, I need to try this game. This seems right up my weird alley. This could be fun. Please don't.
Do not do it.
Please don't.
We live in prison cells in our minds, just like that story by Edgar Allan Poe. We are clasped to a wall right now. Clink, clink to a wall. We're never getting out of here. And brick by brick, we are trapped here. Do not trap us. Please bring us some fast food. Thank you. And get out of here. I'm trapped.
I feel that way too, buddy.